Now picture this. You are standing in front of the yogurt shelf in your grocery store and about to decide which one of those fancy tastes you will take home. But have you ever wondered how that creamy, tangy, delicious yogurt you scoop up with your spoon makes its way from a factory to your grocery store? Well, you're in for a treat because today we're going behind the scenes to discover the amazing process of how yogurt is made in a factory. All right, folks, we're about to enter a world where milk, science, and flavor come together to create yogurt magic. Let's dive right in. It all starts with fresh milk arriving at the factory. Depending on the recipe, it can be cow's milk, goat's milk, or even plant-based milk alternatives. But it's not just any milk that makes the cut. First, it has to go through a strict quality control process. Experts test the milk to ensure it's free from impurities and has the right levels of fat and protein. But not only proteins, yogurt has lots of other health benefits for your body. Yogurts are also high in calcium, vitamins, and live cultures or probiotics. Low-fat yogurt can be a useful source of protein on a weight loss diet. Probiotics may boost the immune system. So, in eating this delicious treat, you're even doing something good for your health. But before we continue, I would like to ask you for a quick favor. We are putting our hearts into the videos for you, and your support means the world to us. So please subscribe to our channel, like and share with your favorite people, and let's continue our journey together through more fascinating food discoveries. So once the milk has gone through the quality control, next up is pasteurization. This step is all about safety and setting the stage for our yogurt. The milk is heated to a specific temperature, usually around 185 degrees Fahrenheit or 85 degrees Celsius, to kill any harmful bacteria. Think of it like giving the milk a spa day to cleanse and refresh. This step also helps the milk proteins get ready to create that creamy texture we all love in yogurt. After pasteurization, the milk moves on to homogenization. This process breaks down fat molecules in the milk to ensure a smooth and consistent texture. No one wants chunky yogurt, right? Homogenization is like a super blender for milk. It ensures that every spoonful of yogurt is just as smooth and creamy as the last. Now comes the sciencey part, adding live bacteria cultures. These are the friendly bacteria that turn milk into yogurt through fermentation. Two superstar strains, Lactobacillus bulgaricus and Streptococcus thermophilus, are added to the milk. Now look at those. These little guys are the real MVPs. They eat up the natural sugars in the milk known as lactose and produce lactic acid. That's what gives yogurt its tangy flavor and thick texture. Once the cultures are added, the milk is transferred to fermentation tanks. The mixture is kept warm, usually around 110 degrees Fahrenheit or 43 degrees Celsius, to create the perfect environment for the bacteria to do their job. Think of this step like baking a cake, but instead of an oven, we're using tanks, and instead of cake batter, it's milk and bacteria. The mixture ferments for 4 to 7 hours, and voila, it starts turning into yogurt. Now, if we're going to process just a plain, simple yogurt, we would go straight to the next step, the cooling part. But I'd want to give you a little caviar here and show you what step is done to produce an extra luxurious and creamy yogurt before cooling, the Greek yogurt. The step we're looking at here is called straining. This step separates Greek yogurt from the regular yogurt you find in your grocery store fridge. This is done using special filters or cuses which separate the yogurt from the watery part of the milk. For every gallon of milk, you only get about a third as much Greek yogurt. Talk about concentrated goodness. The result, a super thick, protein-packed yogurt with that luxurious texture we all love. So, after fermentation or after straining for the Greek yogurt, the yogurt is rapidly cooled to stop the bacteria from overworking. If they keep going, the yogurt could end up too sour. Cooling locks in that perfect tangy flavor and creamy texture. It's like telling the bacteria, "Great job, team, you can rest now." Now it's time to jazz things up. This is where the yogurt gets its personality. Fruit purees, sweeteners, vanilla, or even chocolate are mixed in for flavored yogurt options. For plain yogurt fans, this step is skipped, and the yogurt stays simple and classic. Fun fact: factories use precise machines to ensure the flavors are evenly distributed. Ever notice how your strawberry yogurt has the same delicious taste in every bite? That's no accident. By the way, what's your favorite flavor? Do you like regular yogurt or do you enjoy the luxurious Greek yogurt? Leave us a comment below the video. Okay guys, now once the yogurt is flavored or left plain, it's time for packaging. The yogurt is pumped into individual containers, big tubs, single-serve cups, or even drinkable bottles. Machines seal the lids airtight to keep the yogurt fresh, and don't forget the labels. These machines can label thousands of yogurt cups in minutes. Talk about efficiency. Before the yogurt is shipped out, it undergoes one last round of quality control. Technicians test the texture, flavor, and even the live bacteria levels to make sure everything meets the factory standards. Yep, there's an official yogurt taste test. What a job, right? Every batch must be perfect before it hits the shelves. Once the yogurt passes quality control, it's packed into refrigerated trucks and shipped to grocery stores near you. And there you have it, folks. That creamy, dreamy yogurt you love so much has gone through quite the adventure to get to your breakfast table. I hope you enjoyed this behind-the-scenes look at how yogurt is made. Next time you dig into your favorite flavor, you'll know just how much care and science went into creating it. Imagine the sun-kissed fields where vibrant raspberries ripen, their sweet, tangy scent filling the air. Now picture that fresh fruit transforming into the delicious spread we all know and love, raspberry jam. In today's video, we're going to walk you through the fascinating process of how raspberry jam is made in a factory. From the moment the berries are plucked from the vine to when that jar is sealed and ready to ship. We'll explore every step of the journey. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more behind the scenes of how everyday foods are made. Before we dive in, let's get started. Let's talk about where the jam making begins. Raspberries are a delicate fruit requiring specific conditions to thrive. They grow best in cooler climates with long, mild summers and well-drained soil. Regions like Oregon in the US and the United Kingdom are famous for their high-quality raspberries. Here they flourish, soaking in the sun and rain to produce plump, juicy berries perfect for jam. Raspberry bushes are carefully tended to throughout the growing season, ensuring the best possible fruit. Unlike some fruits, raspberries are fragile and need to be picked by hand. Workers in the fields must be quick but delicate, making sure not to bruise the fruit as they harvest it. The best raspberries are those that are fully ripe, plump, and have the deep red color that signals peak sweetness. Once picked, they are carefully placed into baskets or crates, ready for transport to the processing facility. Once the raspberries arrive at the factory, they are unloaded and sent through an initial sorting process. This step is crucial, as only the highest quality raspberries are used for making jam. The berries are sorted to remove any that are overripe, underripe, or damaged. Some factories use machines with advanced technology to separate out impurities, while others still rely on manual labor for quality control. Next, the raspberries are carefully washed to remove any dirt, debris, or pesticides. They are placed in large washing tanks where gentle jets of water ensure that each berry is thoroughly cleaned without being damaged. It's vital that the berries stay intact during this process, as their shape and texture will affect the final product. Once cleaned, the raspberries are ready. For the next step, crushing. In most modern factories, the berries are passed through a crusher or pulper. This machine gently breaks down the fruit into a puree, which will be the base of our jam. The pulp is collected and transferred into large cooking kettles. Here, the raspberry puree is combined with sugar, which helps preserve the fruit and gives the jam its signature sweetness. The amount of sugar varies based on the desired sweetness and consistency of the final product, but a typical ratio is around 60% fruit and 40% sugar. As the mixture begins to cook, it's carefully monitored to prevent burning or overcooking. The cooking process can take anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour, depending on the scale of production and the type of equipment being used. During this time, the pectin in the raspberries is released, helping the jam thicken and take on that perfect spreadable texture. Temperature control is critical at this stage. The jam must reach a precise temperature, typically around 220 degrees Fahrenheit or 104 degrees Celsius, to ensure it sets correctly. Some factories use advanced technology to measure the temperature and consistency, while others rely on the spoon test, a simple method where a small amount of jam is placed on a spoon and allowed to cool to see if it has the right thickness. Once the jam has reached the perfect consistency, it's time for jarring. The hot jam is carefully poured into sterilized jars in large factories. This process is automated with machines that fill and seal hundreds of jars every minute. However, quality control remains essential at this stage. Each jar is inspected for any air bubbles or imperfections in the seal, ensuring that the jam remains fresh for as long as possible. Once filled, the jars are sealed with tight-fitting lids to prevent any air from entering. Some factories use vacuum sealing techniques where air is drawn out of the jar before sealing to prolong the shelf life of the jam. To ensure that the jam is safe to eat and has a long shelf life, it's pasteurized. This means the sealed jars are heated to a specific temperature for a set amount of time to kill any harmful bacteria or microorganisms. Pasteurization also helps preserve the color, flavor, and nutrients of the jam. After pasteurization, the jars are moved to a cooling station where they are allowed to cool down gradually. Once cooled, the jars are transferred to the labeling station. Here, each jar is carefully labeled with its product name, ingredients, expiration date, and branding. The labeling process is typically automated in large factories, but the design and placement of the labels are carefully monitored for accuracy. Finally, the jars of jam are packed into cartons, ready to be shipped out to distributors, stores, and directly to customers. The packaging ensures that the jam stays secure and intact during its journey. From the factory to your local grocery store, after all the hard work and care put into the production process, your jar of raspberry jam finally makes its way to your home. Whether it's for a morning breakfast spread, a sweet addition to desserts, or an ingredient in homemade pastries, raspberry jam is the perfect way to enjoy the taste of summer all year round. From the fields to the factory and finally to your table, the journey of raspberry jam is a testament to the hard work and care that goes into producing every jar. Next time you spread that delicious jam on your toast, you'll know exactly how it got there. Did you know that the average American consumes about 3 pounds of peanut butter every year? Or that peanuts were enjoyed by ancient cultures like the Aztecs and Incas, who ground them into a paste? The journey of peanut butter starts with peanuts growing underground, and transforming these humble nuts into creamy spreads can take a long time. From the fields where peanuts are harvested to the high-tech machines that turn them into peanut butter, this is the truth behind how peanut butter is made. Peanut butter starts in the fields. The peanuts are planted in spring, around April or May, when temperatures start to climb up and are perfect for the little seeds to grow. The plants bloom into beautiful yellow flowers that bend down to the ground. After the petals fall off, the peanut pods continue growing underground. Peanuts take a long time to grow, about 140 to 160 days. That's why it's only by late August to October, when the weather is dry and clear, that it's time to harvest. Dry weather makes the process easier because the soil doesn't stick to the peanut stems and pods. During harvest, machines dig up the peanut plants. These machines shake the plants to loosen the peanuts from their roots and flip the plants over so the peanuts are exposed to the sun. The plants dry in the sun for a few days to remove extra moisture. This drying step is important to keep the peanuts from spoiling. Once the peanuts are dry, big machines pick up the plants, separate the peanuts from the debris, and collect them in large containers. Did you know that China, one of the biggest producers, processes about 20 million tons of peanuts each year after harvesting the peanuts are taken to shelling facilities for the next step. When the peanuts arrive at the shelling facility, the first thing they get is a good cleaning. This step removes any dirt, stones, and other bits and pieces. Only clean peanuts move forward from here. Next, the moisture content of the peanuts is checked and controlled. This is important because too much moisture makes the shells too tough to crack, while too little makes the seeds too brittle. The peanuts are then passed through a series of rollers that gently crack open the shells. After that, the peanuts are gently tumbled and air-blown until all the shells and foreign materials are gone. After shelling, the peanuts are graded. They are inspected for size, color, and quality. Only the best peanuts move on to the next stage. Any defective ones are discarded. Now, we really want to make sure that the peanut butter gets that unique, nutty flavor we all love. So that brings us to what is probably the most important process of all roasting. There are two main ways to roast peanuts: batch roasting and continuous roasting. In batch roasting, large amounts of peanuts are placed in a revolving oven. They are heated to about 320 degrees Fahrenheit or 160 degrees Celsius for 40 to 60 minutes. This is great for peanuts with different moisture levels because the revolving oven roasts them evenly. Continuous roasting is a bit different. Here, peanuts pass through a hot air roaster where they are constantly rocked back and forth. A special device called the photometer checks when the peanuts are perfectly roasted, turning them from white to a light brown color. Big manufacturers love this method because it reduces spoilage and needs less labor. The continuous rocking motion ensures that every peanut is roasted evenly, giving them a consistent flavor. Roasting does more than just enhance the flavor. It also reduces the moisture content of the peanuts. This makes them more stable and extends their shelf life, ensuring they are ready for the next stages of processing without spoiling. Next up, we've got cooling. After the peanuts are perfectly roasted, they need to be cooled quickly. This stops the cooking process and keeps their moisture and oil content just right. To do this, we use a blower cooler cylinder that pulls a large amount of air through the peanuts. This rapid cooling prevents the peanuts from getting too hot or soggy. The goal is to bring the temperature of the peanuts down to about 86 degrees Fahrenheit or 30 degrees Celsius. This step is super important because it keeps the peanuts' texture and flavor while stopping any further cooking that could make them dry or burned. Until now, the peanuts were just getting ready for the big show. Before we move any further, they have to be prepared for grinding, and that means blanching. Blanching is the process of removing the remaining skins from the peanuts. There are two main ways to do this: heat blanching and water blanching. In heat blanching, the peanuts are exposed to hot air at 280 degrees Fahrenheit or 138 degrees Celsius for about 20 minutes. This makes the skins soft and easy to remove. Rubber belts the peanuts also go through. A steam machine that helps take off the skins. After this, the skins are separated and blown into waste bags. The hearts of the peanuts, which don't taste good, are also taken out. Water blanching is a newer method. It involves cracking the skins with sharp blades and then giving the peanuts a quick hot water bath. The peanuts are then placed onto a swinging pad that rubs off the skins. Then they are dried for about 6 hours with hot air at 120 degrees Fahrenheit or 49 degrees Celsius. Both methods remove the skins effectively, but water blanching is usually more efficient. A blower takes away light peanuts, and a color sorting machine gets rid of discolored ones. The peanuts are carefully checked to remove any burnt or rotten ones. This thorough inspection ensures that only higher quality peanuts are used to make peanut butter. Now, this next process is important for all the texture that we get in our peanut butter. Grinding. Grinding is where the magic happens. This is when peanuts are turned into peanut butter. The blanched peanuts go through 2 stages of grinding. The first grinder breaks them down into smaller pieces, creating a medium grind. Then the second grinder turns these pieces into a fine, smooth paste. During grinding, ingredients like salt, sugar, and stabilizers like hydrogenated vegetable oil are added. These additions improve the flavor and texture of the peanut butter and keep the oil from separating. For those who love chunky peanut butter, chopped peanuts are added at this stage for that extra crunch. The grinding process creates heat, raising the temperature of the peanut butter to about 60 degrees Celsius. To keep the peanut butter fresh and extend its shelf life, it's cooled to around 38 degrees Celsius. This cooling step also helps achieve the perfect consistency, making the peanut butter smooth and easy to spread. The final step in the peanut butter journey is packaging. Freshly ground and cooled, peanut butter is pumped into jars in a steady stream. Packaging is crucial for preserving the quality of the peanut butter. The vacuum sealing process not only extends the shelf life but also keeps the peanut butter free from contaminants. The jars are labeled with important information like nutritional content, ingredients, and expiry date, giving consumers all the details they need. Once sealed, the jars are labeled and set aside to crystallize. This process helps the peanut butter develop its final texture and stay stable over time. After crystallization, the jars are packed into cartons and sent to stores. Now they're ready for you to enjoy. There you have it, a fascinating story of how peanut butter is made. From planting and harvesting to shelling, roasting, cooling, blanching, grinding, and finally packaging, each step is crucial in creating the delicious spread we all love. Feeling inspired? Why not try making your own peanut butter at home? With just a few simple ingredients and some basic kitchen gear, you can whip up your own custom blend of creamy or chunky peanut butter. It's a fun and tasty way to play around with flavors and textures, and you'll know exactly what's in your spread. Plus, you'll impress your friends with your skills. That's all for the truth behind all the complex processes that go into making peanut butter. But if you enjoy this video, make sure to click on the next one to discover more unbelievable processes on how things are made. Earl Grey tea, iconic aroma, and oh so elegant. It's the perfect companion for a rainy afternoon or a moment of relaxation. But have you ever wondered how this legendary tea gets its signature citrusy twist? Today we're peeling back the curtain on the fascinating journey of Earl Grey. Like all black teas, Earl Grey starts its journey on sprawling tea plantations, often located in countries like India, Sri Lanka, and China. The tea used for Earl Grey is typically a blend of premium black teas such as Assam or Darjeeling from India or Ceylon from Sri Lanka. To make premium black tea, only the finest and freshest leaves are picked, specifically the top two leaves and the bud. This is what tea lovers call the two leaves and a bud method. Fancy, right? These leaves are packed with flavor and aroma. And did you know tea harvesting is often done by hand to ensure only the best leaves are selected? It's an art. Can you tell how carefully the worker is picking the leaves? Hand picking is also the best method for high quality tea because the plant doesn't get damaged that way. These plants are delicate and need to be treated like royalty. In today's modern world, many producers use big industrial machines to cut off the upper part of the plants, but sure, tell you what, you wouldn't enjoy this. Tea as near as much as the one picked by hand. Once the leaves are harvested, they are transported to the factory to start their transformation into the black tea we all know and love. If you have watched the video until now, I'm sure you like the journey of tea making, so please do us a favor and like the video and subscribe to our channel. Our first stop in the processing journey is withering. And no, this doesn't mean the leaves are dying, it's quite the opposite. Withering is all about preparing the leaves for the magic that's to come. Freshly plucked tea leaves are around 70 to 80% water. During withering, they're laid out in thin layers and left to dry, either naturally or with fans circulating air. This step reduces moisture, making the leaves soft and pliable for the next stage. Once the leaves are nice and supple, it's time to roll. And no, I'm not talking about rolling out cookie dough. This is where the tea leaves get their signature twisty shape. Rolling does two important things. It shapes the leaves and, more importantly, breaks down their cell walls. This releases the juices and enzymes inside the leaves, which are essential for developing the tea's flavor and aroma. Back in the day, rolling was done entirely by hand, but today machines help speed up the process while keeping the leaves intact. Now comes the most critical step in the black tea making process, oxidation. This is where the magic truly happens. Oxidation is like tea's version of a makeover. The rolled leaves are spread out in a humid environment where they react with oxygen. This reaction turns the leaves from green to a rich dark brown and develops the bold flavors we love in black tea. Think of it like slicing an apple and leaving it out. The browning is a sign of oxidation. But in tea, this step is carefully controlled to bring out specific flavor profiles from malty and robust to sweet and floral. Once the leaves are perfectly oxidized, it's time to lock in all those amazing flavors. Enter the drying stage. During drying, the leaves are heated to remove any remaining moisture. This not only preserves the tea, but also enhances its flavor, giving it that toasty, caramelized goodness we can't resist. See how the leaves are crisp and dark now? That's how you know they're ready. And before we have perfect black flavor, it's time for sorting and grading. This is where the tea leaves are separated by size and quality. Tea grading sounds fancy, but it's basically a way of organizing the leaves. Whole leaves are considered the highest grade and are often used for loose-leaf tea. Smaller pieces, called fannings or dust, are used in tea bags, but don't worry, both can be delicious. But as already said, our journey of the final product has not finished yet, because we will now meet the second star of the show, the bergamot fruit. This quirky little citrus is the secret behind Earl Grey's signature flavor. Bergamot looks like a lime and a lemon had a love child, but don't be fooled. Its taste and aroma are entirely unique. Bergamot is typically grown in the sunny regions of southern Italy, especially in Calabria, where the soil and climate are just perfect for this zesty fruit. Harvest season is a busy time, with workers hand-picking each fruit to ensure it's at peak ripeness. The magic of bergamot lies in its essential oil, which is extracted from the peel. That's what gives Earl Grey its distinct floral citrusy kick. Here's how it works. The peels are pressed or sometimes steam distilled to release their essential oils. Think of it as squeezing the very soul of the fruit into a bottle. The result is this golden, fragrant oil that's bursting with citrusy goodness. It's floral, fresh, and just a little bit spicy. And now that it's ready, it's time for the ultimate flavor fusion, where the real Earl Grey magic happens, flavoring the tea with bergamot oil. And let me tell you, it's both an art and a science. The process starts by adding just the right amount of bergamot oil to the tea leaves. Too little, and the tea won't have that signature aroma. Too much, and it can overwhelm the blend. It's all about balance. Mixing is done carefully to ensure every leaf is evenly coated with bergamot oil. Some factories even use a misting system to lightly spray the oil for an even distribution. Look at this, the leaves are infused with that citrusy aroma, but they're still dry enough to brew perfectly before it gets packed. Every batch of Earl Grey goes through rigorous quality control. Experts check for aroma, flavor, and consistency to make sure it meets the high standards of tea lovers everywhere. Once the tea passes the test, it's packed into airtight containers to preserve all that bergamot goodness. Whether it's loose-leaf tea, pyramid bags, or your classic tea bag, it's ready to make its way to your kitchen. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for: brewing a cup of Earl Grey. Here's a quick pro tip. Always use fresh hot water and steep for about 3 to 5 minutes to unlock the full flavor. The result, a cup of tea that's bold, aromatic, and perfectly balanced. Sip it straight or add a splash of milk and a touch of honey if you're feeling fancy. So there. And you have it. The incredible journey of Earl Grey tea, from lush tea gardens and sunny bergamot orchards to your favorite mug. Next time you sip on this classic blend, take a moment to appreciate